Okay, so amp-wise,
So this is a slightly different setup than I've been running, but these are all Dumble amplifiers. Before he passed away, he and I became very close. He built me 11 amplifiers over the course of our friendship.
wow.
And this is 3 of them. And what I really liked about it is that, these are like, I'm a car guy, and in the hot rod world, we have what you call a sleeper, which is like, it looks like your grandmother's car, but under the hood, you've got like 800 horsepower and you'll
Sure.
burn the tires off of it. Well, that's what these are. They look like your, average run-of-the-mill vintage Fender amplifiers, but under the hood, that is 100% Dumble. He would take these amps, he basically used the cabinet and the chassis, and then everything else was taken out. Transformers, the circuit, everything, he would hand wire all that stuff from scratch. So,
wow.
They're just kind of in appearance Fender, but inside under the hood, it's 100% Dumble. So the Pro Reverb, originally that was a combo. I had it converted to a head cabinet, so I could do the the closed back cabinet with the 212s. And that thing is one of maybe a handful or less amps that he built in that configuration, where in one side of the amp, one channel, he has what he calls this ultraphonic circuit, and in the other channel, he has what he calls the rockphonic circuit, which just has more of everything and a lot more gain on tap and a lot more sustain. And I don't think he made 5 amplifiers in that configuration in his entire life. So it's monstrous. That thing sounds incredible. And he made it so that I could take that to Europe. So it has a switchable transformer, so I can take it over to Europe, open it up inside, switch it, and then it converts over and it can run on 220.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Thought of everything.
Yeah, exactly. So the one in the middle, that's originally was a Bassman reissue. So again, those LTD Bassmans, they were like a printed circuit board, right? So I watched him. He took it out, tossed that in the trash, and had his own board, pressed all the holes and the eyelets and everything for the board and wired it all up, and it's just absolutely beautiful inside. But that is called the slide winder. And again, that's another one that I believe maybe he only made definitely less than 10 of those probably in his life. And it's just absolutely sounds incredible. It has everything. It has all the growl that you could ever want out of like a Tweed Bassman style kind of amplifier. And the next one over there is a Blackface Bandmaster. So that's a original 67 Bandmaster that he gutted. And he did, for this one, I usually run a Ultraphonics Bandmaster. It's a 65 that he did, but that one is at home right now. This is what he called the AC 763 circuit. So essentially this, from the way he explained it to me, is this is what would have been what he envisioned the next like lineage of the AB 763 circuit that Leo Fender had created. This would be the AC 763. So it's like, if you just compare it to its original, or to the other version of it, or its original, circuit, then it would sound like the difference between listening to something in like mono versus like high fidelity surround sound. It's the fidelity that comes out of the amplifier is absolutely incredible, especially when you AB it with what the original actually sounds like.
And are you really running it on 10?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they put 10 on there because they want you to use it, right?
Yeah,
we run it through all the full range. And what's incredible about his amps is like, one of the first things I notice is the range. Some amps like you can get, and you turn the knob, and maybe from between 1 and 5 on the dial is like very little difference.
Right.
But on his, man, it is unbelievable. Every notch on that dial does something noticeable.
So there's nuance every step.
Unbelievable. I mean, the amount of low end that you can get out of these amps is like nothing I had ever heard out of any Fender amplifier.
Yeah, in fact, I see you got the bass like rolled all the way down.
That's right, because it's like, it's too much. Like, it's not too much. It probably would be just enough for somebody.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, it's more bass than I would ever know what to do with. But I just admired him so much for like and I told him, like, it's incredible because every knob, you have 100% use of the full spectrum of what's available there. And it never seemed like that was possible before. And he was really proud of that.
So what was the process like? Would you just say, hey, I want something like this?
No.
Or he would just tell you, I'm making you something like this?
No. So Well, yeah, I would say, hey, I kind of like, this is what I'm thinking we need, I need, or the sound that I need. Every amp he built for me was a different circuit, and everyone has a different sound. So everyone serves a different purpose, which is great. So there was no duplicates, right? We weren't like repeating ourselves.
Right.
But I would go to his house, and he would, if you went to his house, it was always a minimum, and this was for everybody, I think. It was like a minimum 4-hour visit. Like, serious. And you didn't really want to leave.
Yeah.
Because you walk in the door and you're surrounded by the most amazing gear, right? Guitars, amplifiers, like the best of the best.
Yeah.
And he would sit me down in his living room, and we're surrounded by amps, and he'd hand me, I'd bring a guitar, or he'd hand me, he had 2 guitars that he frequently used to test amps and stuff. And he'd plug me in to these different amplifiers and different circuits, and I would just play, and he would just sit there and listen to me. And basically what he was doing is he was listening to the way I play, my attack, my feel, and what it is that I'm trying to get the amplifier to do.
Right.
Then he would see which circuits are responding well to my touch, and then he would go, okay, this is the path we need to go down, and I know what you're trying to get out of it, so I'm gonna take this as the foundation, and then I'm gonna go tune it to your hands to make it do exactly what you want it to do. Because I know what you're trying to get out of it.
Right.
Like, he knew what I was trying to get out of it. And what was amazing is, like, the first amp he handed over to me and I played through it, it was like a veil, a curtain had been lifted. And because it opened up this level of creativity in me, because before I was using so many tricks to try and just get certain things out of the amplifier and the guitar, right? And so a lot of my focus would be on that. In that moment, it's like, what combination of things I have to do just to hope that I can get this sound out of here in this moment. And instead, it would just happen effortlessly. And that freed up so much creativity for me.
Oh, yeah.
Because then I'm not focused on that. I'm focused more on just the music, just playing the music. And that's really, like, I think that was his goal, was to give people the tools to enable them to, like, to reach higher elevation, of playing and ability. And it really did that for me, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Noe will get that experience again, because he would make those amps specifically for the players.
Right.
And now somebody can still buy a Dumble, but it's not made for them.
Yeah, I think that's, part of, and I can't speak for him personally, but I talked to him about a lot of this stuff. And I think that's one of the things that, that was frustrating for him, was that he would build an amplifier. It's like a tailor-made suit, right? Like, you could go and have a suit tailored just for you, and then I can put it on. It's not going to fit me right, you know, because we have different builds. And it was the same thing with his amplifiers, and that amp was built with that guy in mind, and that was supposed to be played by that person. And so, and he put a lot of effort into making it appropriate for that player.
Right.
And then, then it gets handed off.
Yeah, then somebody would, like, flip it.
Yeah. So there you go, and then, the entire industry that was launched, off of his, designs and things like that, because he was so exclusive and so hard to track down. And, he picked and chose what he did. Right. And so many people wanted what he had to offer, that other guys stepped in to try and fill the void. And, that was frustrating for him too. But,
you must hate backline.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Well, so I had him build me a head specifically that would weigh less than 50 pounds when in a road case. Yeah. So that was another thing. I'm like, hey, man, here's the thing. We got my sound, but now I need to be able to take my sound on an airplane. Right? I need to check it if possible, if I have to. And so I can have my sound with me, but it's got to be less than 50 pounds in the road case.
You and Robin Ford. Yeah. You guys that fly with your Dumbles.
Yeah. So I try not to do that so much anymore, but especially now, because they're so irreplaceable.
Yeah. That's great.